So we are recording. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. And we're just going to jump right into it for today. And so our scary statistics for today is very simple. Honesty is is the most common quality that men and women say that they want in relationships, right? But in the end, betrayal from dishonesty is one of the top reasons why people break up. And it brings you to the question, what exactly is happening? Why are people breaking up so much from dishonesty when they say that honesty is what they want? What is happening? And we can easily say that from what we learned yesterday, for the people who were here yesterday, we can, we already talked about two different things that can explain what that is. And the first one is the fact that people tend to unconsciously people please, and people pleasing makes them erase themselves from the equation. And then we also have self-editing, and we self-edit for the purpose and people please for the purpose of seeking validation and love. And I've said it also that it is rooted in how we try to control the emotions of our caregivers. And then as children, we just unconsciously and innocently made ourselves responsible for other people's feelings, other people's happiness, and hereby ignoring our own. And so if you missed that particular, if you missed yesterday's live, find it somewhere in your emails. It is super amazing. I should definitely watch it. Who was here yesterday? Tell the people who are here today that they really need to go back if they haven't gone back. Tell them. Yeah, so I can see some familiar names. Tell them who was here yesterday and how was it? So they should really go back. Tell them in the chat. I want to see it. Okay. So in the next 30 minutes or thereabouts, we're going to be discussing the third mistake that people make in relationships unconsciously that block the path of finding love and, and just connection that you truly desire. And so today's agenda is going to be simple. We're going to be talking about the third unconscious mistakes, where it comes from, the behavior, the problems, the behavior, how these things affect us, and the truth, basically as we went through it yesterday. So who is in the chat? Who is here? Who is listening? Just let me know that you're here. Please type yes, you're here. Yes, you can hear me, so I can be sure that you are still hearing me. Just let me know. Just type yes. Let me see that you're still here. Oh, beautiful. So we're still here. Lovely. Okay, so in case you're new here and you're just finding me somehow by mistake, I am Dr. M. I am going to be your coach for today. I'm a relationship and intimacy coach, and I've helped over 500 women go from being broken from failed relationships and very, chaotic childhoods to being very safe, very confident, very joyful, empowered, and thriving, whether they are single, in a relationship, or married. And if you've just found me, congratulations, because now self-worth, low self-worth, lack of self-awareness, and unhealthy relationships does not have to be your kettle of fish anymore. So if you're here, congratulate yourself. And so let's pause for a moment and let me know where you're watching me from today. So let me see you in the chat. Where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you listening to me from? How did you even get here? Did you get here by email? Did you get here from Instagram? How did you get here? Hi. Say hello to me in the chat so I can see you, because that's the only way that I can confirm that you're here when we're sharing our screen. So let me see you. Where are you from? Where are you from? Let me see you. Abuja. Akoke, I can see you. My Instagram people, it's okay. It's okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I can see you all. Thank you. And so like I asked yesterday, which one of these categories do you think you fall into? So are you the person who has never been in a relationship and wants to get ready for a relationship? The person who has been in relationships that have ended in premium tears? Or you are in a relationship and you feel very off in that relationship. Which one of it is it? Just let me know. Let me see. Let me see. Number 1, number 2, or number 3? Just type it in the chat. Let me see. Where exactly do you fall into? Number 3. Beautiful. Number 2, the premium tears gang. Nobody is number 1. Well, not number 2. I guess a number 2 would be most common. Okay. 2 was in 1, was 3 years. Oh, 3 weeks ago. Oh, wow. All right. So like I said, it's lovely to have you here, because no matter where you're from and no matter what category you think that you belong to, the fact that you're here now has already put you light years ahead of where you used to be. And it shows that you care about your peace, you care about your joy, and you want to see yourself do better. And so I'm very happy that you're here, and I am excited that you chose me as the person to guide you through this journey. So our disclaimer is forever going to be that I do not want you to think that anything that I discuss here is necessarily your fault, in the sense of that you should start feeling bad and carrying it up and down, that that's what you've been doing and so you're a bad person. I do not want you to take that away from here. Number 2, I want you to know that you are, even though it is not your fault, you are going to be responsible for undoing a lot of the things that you didn't even know that you were doing. And it's not the bad thing to be responsible for yourself. And there are a lot of things I'm going to be making very conscious to you through this process. I just want you to see it as a learning curve for you, and as an opportunity to get better. So, are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Can I see in the comments? Type ready. And then also, before we start, we didn't have any evidence that we did our live video yesterday. So I want you, at any point that you're here, to take a screenshot of anything that you see that you like, record your screen, take pictures of your notes and share it on Instagram, tag me. I'm going to post it to my story so that people can know what is happening here. So do we have that down? Do we have that down? Let me see people that I'm going to, post on my stories, so that people can know, in case they are not here. You are ready. All right, so let's get into it. So relationships are divided into 2 major components. And these components are your relationship with yourself, which is your personal relationship, and the relationship you have with the people outside of yourself. Now, the relationship that we have with ourselves is like the most ignored relationship ever. And a lot of times we do not pay attention to it, and we don't realize that what goes on inside ourselves a lot of times is what we project outwards for people to see. So it's very possible that the relationship that you're having, or how you feel in your relationship, is a mirror to how exactly that you are doing inside. And so it's always very, very important that we go through how exactly we are relating with ourselves before we even get to that point where we're relating with other people. And when one side is off balance, it's going to affect the other side. And so if your personal life and your own self is in an imbalanced state, you're going to see it in your relationship. And if your relationship with other people is not particularly balanced, you're going to feel that also within yourself. And so they have to be at this very beautiful balance. And what we're going to be talking about today is a lot of things that have to do with how we relate with ourselves that now goes on to show in our relationships outwardly. And so that is going to take us to our first, our discussion of today, which is mind games and manipulation. Our first mistake was people pleasing. The second was self-editing. And this third one is mind games and manipulation. And we're going to start by discussing the origin. And so the origin of mind games and manipulation, a lot of times, is that you would find that mind games, obviously, manipulation, obviously, are very bad. especially if we are doing these things consciously to make somebody else feel insecure. But they are also very problematic when you are doing it out of your own insecurities and you don't even realize that you're doing it. And we often pick these behaviors up when we're children, or from friends, or as a reaction to how we have also been treated in the past, and we've decided that we are going to do these things to protect ourselves from further harm, especially pain around rejection or abandonment or disappointment in relationships or even friendships. And so we say to ourselves and we think to ourselves, people cannot be trusted. If I come clean in a relationship early on, my heart is going to be broken and I cannot afford any other heartbreak. Or we tell ourselves that, if we do these mind games, or if we do these manipulative things, that we are going to be more desirable or more valuable. But when you really think about it, you need to ask yourself a lot of times, would it really matter if you truly believe that you are good enough as you are? Would what anybody else thinks about you, would it really matter that much if you are very assured in who you are? Because if you already think that you are the bomb.com, why would you have to pretend or play games to prove that you are worth the stuff that you say that you are? And won't you just keep being your awesome self and say and do whatever it is that you desire? And that's why you would know that the origin of mind games and manipulation don't come from a place of doesn't come from an empowered space. It comes from a space of hurt and a space of trauma a lot of times. And so we're going to dive into the behaviors. Who is still here? Let me see you in the chat. Are you following me? You can type following, you can type yes in the chat. Let me see you so I can be sure that the internet hasn't cut us off or anything bad hasn't happened just yet. Let me see you in the comments, please. Following, beautiful, you're still here. Okay. How are we doing so far? Somebody raised their hand. I'm going to take the questions at the end of this entire thing. So, but I can see that you're still following me, which is great. So we're going to move into the behaviors. And the first of those behaviors is hot and cold behavior. And hot and cold basically is that you meet somebody and you are happy with this person. It's not like maybe you don't like this person. You're actually very comfortable with this person. And then you suddenly meet somebody or hear somebody tell you, don't call back. Oh, you don't want to look like you're desperate. When the phone rings, just let it ring like 5 times before you pick it. And then when the person actually meets you, you vibe well, you're doing well with the person. But then they are trying to reach you again, or you even want to reach out to the person again, and then you're stopping yourself from doing that. And then, they are chatting you up, you are responding one moment, and another moment you disappear purposely, and then you're telling them, oh, so that they can say, oh, yeah, it seems like you're busy, right? You're busy, and then you are there lying down on your bed, literally doing nothing, and you are pretending to be busy just because somebody said that you shouldn't be too available. And then people tell you things like, you need to know that you are busy. They need to know that you're not easy to get. Men like to, they like games, and you want to leave an impression. And the what's that thing called? The horoscopes people will say, oh, I'm a Scorpio, we just like trouble. Who can relate to this kind of things that people will typically say? Or the audio goes low and up, I definitely blame the network. I blame the network. Can you hear me clearly now? Can you hear me clearly now? Just say yes if you can hear me clearly. Okay, yes, you can hear me. Okay, you're still hearing me. And so I was saying that, yes, about the don't look desperate part, exactly. And so we really want to talk to this person, we really want to get to know this person, and then you cut yourself out of the situation because somebody said you don't want to look desperate. And so other times you like somebody. Tenny, are you the person that said the audio was going back and forth for you? Maybe it's your own network and not mine. You can there's still space in the room. So maybe you should go out and come back. Or is anybody else relating to what Tenny is saying? Can you hear me fine? Can every other person hear me fine? So that maybe, okay, you can hear clearly. Tenny, maybe you should go out and come back inside again. Okay. And then my own internet connection is unstable. So I would not be surprised if that is also part of it. Okay. Okay. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is when somebody blows only cold behavior. So you find that you're just very standoffish, and it's almost like you are punishing this person for liking you, or you are punishing this person for paying attention to you. And so you make sure that they do everything to get to you in your very high tower with very high walls. And then they can't get anything off of you. And we also do this sometimes just because we don't want to look cheap. You don't want to look like maybe, you are going to crack easily. And I say crack in quotes. And so they text you and you take donkey years to respond. They call you, you watch it ring, and at no point do you ever give this person the light of day. And why this might be unfortunate, it's fine. It's not fine, but I can even understand if you don't like this person, right? But then why would you like somebody and then go all this way just to prove a point? And even if you do not like this person, you do not have to take hold with them. You could actually just say, sorry, I am not interested in this. And then they can keep it moving. And anything they do after that, they know that you are not going to respond because you already said so. But why do you have to go through all this length for somebody that you actually might think that there might be something that can go on between you two? And then you have the team only hot behavior. And only hot behavior is the kind of behavior that people who have anxious attachment style can relate to. And this is when you go out of your way and melt that person with your attention and all your essence, and it doesn't match with the time that you've known this person for. So you've known this person only 1 week and you are already all over them unnecessarily, and you basically choke them with the attention that it doesn't even come from a good place within you. It comes from a place of, maybe if I don't reach out to this person, they are going to disappear from my life. And it's almost like you are holding on to this person for life. And you come up super strong on this person, almost like you are also trying to convince them that you are the best thing that they've ever met in their life. And that's, whether you like it or not, is a mind game, and it is also very manipulative, because it can be very akin to something that I call love bombing. And I talk about love bombing once in a while on my page. And people who know me very well know that I talk about it a lot. You don't do these things consciously with the mind of, I'm going to manipulate this person. Well, unconsciously, that is exactly what it is trying to do, because you are trying to choke them with you, so that you are the only person they can think about. Who is understanding? Who is following and understanding what I am saying? Another mind game and manipulative issue that people also have is backhanded compliments. And you might be that kind of person who feels like they have to humble the person or humble the man to, so that he can know that they are not, cheap, or they are classy. And then you say things to almost make the person feel like they are not worthy of your attention. And so you might say, you are using Samsung, maybe it's a good phone, sha. Or you look at somebody and then you find out, okay, you see their height and you're like 5'10". I've dated guys who are 6'2" and above, and it's like, but then you're still tall, sha. And then the question is, who asked you? Like, auntie, who is the person that is asking you these things? And why do you have to? What exactly is that information going to do in the grand scheme of things in the relationship that you're going to have with this person? But then we say these things almost to make it seem as if, maybe we think we deserve better, but we are stooping low to this person's level. Who is here and who is following? And who is familiar with these behaviors? Let me see you in the chat so I can also confirm. Oh, beautiful. Hamdallah, thank you. And so another one that we do, or that we tend to do, is provoking jealousy. And it's quite similar to the last thing that we talked about. And this is when you want that person to feel like, you're a speck, and you are going to prove it to them. You go out of your way to prove it to them so that they can think that there's a competition and that they can work hard to get you or to keep you. And so you talk about your ex and how fantastic your ex was, and then you flirt and tell them about the long queue of people that are after you and why they should feel lucky that they are the one that you are giving your attention to. And you don't even do these things quietly. You do them very noisily so that they can see you by force. So that is just to mention a few. And as at this point, who has left the chat because they may just relate with some of the things I've talked about. So we're going to take a pause here and I'm going to see in the chat who can relate to any of these things, or has anybody done anything like this to you? Which one is it? Are you the one that is mind gaming and manipulating, or have you been mind gamed and manipulated? So let me see you in the chat. Who is here? Who is here? Oh, wow. You have, so you noticed that it's something that's happened to you before. Would anybody like to tell me which one that they could relate that somebody was doing to them? Okay, so Tosin can relate, but not on a personal level. Okay, so you can relate to the feeling like maybe you were settling for less and then it was almost okay. Okay, so both ways. I like the honesty in the chat. You didn't even know it was happening until you ended the relationship. Yes, constantly talking about his ex. Beautiful. And so we can see these behaviors, but then most times until somebody actually points it out to you, you might actually not even notice that it is something that you're either doing or that somebody has done to you before. And whether you like it or not, you're already draining the battery life of whatever relationship you have with this person or whatever one you're going to have in the future, because you have thrown them into this limbo. And we're going to continue and discuss that a bit further. So the problem with mind games and manipulation is that, say for instance, the person you are doing it with is not self-aware. The person, you throw them into a panic state, and then they start, trying to do things to please you. You start making them feel insecure, and then they start to lose the creativity in the way that they approach you. And then you start unconsciously leading them to the point where they cannot take initiative again. And then when you now want to, when you feel like, okay, you have gotten them, and then you want to relax and be taken care of in the relationship, that's when you will not be able to get them at their maximum self again, because they are still waiting for you to punish them so that they can think of an interesting way to say sorry to you. And then they've gotten used to walking around on eggshells around you. And then God did not help you that this person is a vengeful person that decides that because you have done all these things in the time when they were trying to get you, they are going to do their own back. And then it now develops this huge sense of resentment in the relationship. And how exactly is the relationship not going to be sabotaged if that is the kind of situation that you're going to be in? And so also, let's now imagine that this person actually was trying to play you, right? And then you are now behaving in this very funny and interesting ways. That's the part where you're going to decide that men are scum, because the uncle sees through you and sees through the insecurities, and the uncle knows your game because the uncle also plays the game that you play. And so probably that kind of person would wait for you and play along until you fall in love. And then when you guys start to get very, very comfortable, they will swipe the mat from under your leg and you fall down baga on the ground. And then you now start to write all these interesting quotes on your WhatsApp status and be following pages that give you motivational thoughts about toxic people. And then you actually don't look to yourself to ask yourself, maybe you had a role in how that situation came about. And then if the person that you are trying to, mind game or manipulate is self-aware, if the person is self-aware, then it's going to be very, very simple. They will either call you out or they are going to walk away. And then you are going to say, he wasn't interested enough. But the truth is that the person doesn't have time. And for people who feel like they are being manipulated or
people are playing mind games on you, the reason why it can easily drag out, or one of the reasons it stays very long before you realize it, is because there's a level of self-awareness that you might not have gotten to, which might not be your fault, but you just aren't aware to the point where you can tell that this behavior is not normal. You just keep feeling that something is off, but you've not gotten to the point where you can call somebody out, like, I'm not down for this behavior, goodbye. And so if you meet somebody, if you're a lady and you are acting out like this, and you meet somebody who doesn't care for things like this, they are going to move on, and they are going to, cut you out very quick. And sometimes some people just cut you out because they don't understand what you're doing, and so they're just not even ready for it. And either way, the relationship has been sabotaged. And like I've said, the thing is, you do not need these kind of behavior. You just do not need it, because you really don't have anything to prove. You don't have to prove that you're a spec by throwing another person into like this crazy frenzy, and you don't have to accept it from anybody also. And so when you meet somebody that you like, let me just break into pidgin here. Now, like you like person, you do not keep person. Now, like you love that you are loving. You did not kill anybody. And so why can't you confidently admit it, that that you do feel something for this person, and let it just be there. Let it just be stated at that place that, okay, fine, I do like you, and what are we going to do about it? Or are you down for this? And so whether you wait for 2 hours to respond to this person, or you wait 10 months to respond to this person, it really doesn't make any difference, apart from maybe making things worse for you. And I just want to also say at this point that we have these things that, the last time I consciously heard anybody say this was a few years ago, and probably when we were in high school, that somebody would ask you out, and then you wait for 6 months before you say yes. But you already know that you want to say yes. Why? So why are you waiting? What are you testing? And waiting, testing, it means nothing to serious people, because, and the length that somebody waits for you or chases you means nothing. It doesn't mean they are going to treat you well, and it doesn't mean they are going to treat you bad. People are going to treat you the way they are going to treat you. And if this person is chasing you for a very long time, it might also mean that they like a chase, and then you are like an activity on their checklist, and they've checked you out. And so now that they've gotten you, there's really nothing more to it, and they move on with their very not so nice life. And then you start thinking to yourself, oh, I entered this relationship because I thought that this person loved me. They waited so long for me, and they were there when I was acting out, and then I don't know why they're acting like this towards me now. Is because that time that you were spending means really nothing in the grand scheme of things. And it matters more that you are actually talking to somebody, and you are getting towards to the important things, like your values, your beliefs, and checking how this person listens to you, and whether they are actually consistent with the things that they say. You'd be better spending your time doing that than waiting endlessly for a time that you are going to say yes. And so now I had to ask you, like, at this point, hope you are not too uncomfortable by anything that I'm saying. And how does it feel? How do you feel right now at this point? What does that feel like for you? How are we feeling? Hope I'm not calling you out too much. Let me see you in the comments. I always like to see the comments, because then it means that I'm not here alone. Please talk to me. How are you feeling right now? Are you having any thoughts? Are you having any rethoughts? What's going on in your mind? Let's stop to chat. We have a few minutes. He said I'm doing well. Okay, so we're doing well. We're doing well. Keep firing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so, if the reason that you are doing these things is that you want to control the situation, and you want to make sure that this person likes you, I get it. Like, sincerely, I do get it. But whether you like it or not, showing up for and as yourself is the best way to get exactly what you need. And so you can't afford to be believing the people who tell you to blow hot and cold, because people who have things to do with their time, they have things to do with their time, they have places to be. So you cannot be wasting their time. And you cannot now be seeing them moving on and be thinking, oh, they didn't love me enough. That's why they just moved on so quickly. Nobody has that time to be waiting for you and your insecurities. And, you know, if these behaviors feel uncomfortable to you when you receive them, like when somebody does it to you, why should you offer this to anybody? And you really need to think about it and think about the fact that, will you accept it if somebody flings the people they flirt with or their ex in your presence and they bring it up in every conversation? Will you accept backhanded compliments? Or somebody shows you love today and completely ignores you tomorrow and says that it's because they are busy with work, or that they tell you they had a nice time and then they're not going to reach out to you, or you try to reach out and then they leave you on read? Are you going to accept it? And, you know, this is also a point that I need us to think about, because I'm saying this either way, whether somebody is trying to do this thing to you or you are doing it to somebody else, you need to start asking yourself questions like, when you see these things and you almost skip it, exactly, Tenny, you won't accept it. And so you really need to be very, very conscious of these behaviors on those two realms. The fact that you need to be keeping your eyes out for people that are trying to do this to you, and to decide that you're not going to accept that behavior. And secondly, is to keep watching yourself and seeing that you are not unconsciously doing it, because this class is not about obviously doing things. This class is unconscious. Things that you don't even realize that you are doing it until somebody calls you out on it. And to be honest, I don't know the people who have told us that coming forward with what we need or our expectations is being cheap or easy, or being desperate. And like I've written here, there's no shame in being true to what you want. And so I can promise you that anybody that is shaming you for being direct is not worth it. And anybody who backs off you after you have come out straight to say, oh, okay, this relationship that you are trying to speak of me, this is the kind of relationship I want. I want this thing to lead to marriage in the next 6 months, or whatever it is that you think that you want to feel. And somebody starts to back off, then you already know that that person was the need to waste your time in the first place, and you don't need that energy. And so anybody that backs out of you being direct with what you need would have broken your heart anyway, because they would not have wanted what you wanted. But if you had spent that time making the first and second mistake, like I said, people pleasing and editing yourself and saying, okay, maybe no, maybe we can just wait a few years. You spend all those years trying to convince that person to get married every single year, and they keep going to air you. And then you break your heart by your own self. And so, like I wrote this evening to us, you are worthy of love that is balanced and reciprocal and very attentive, and love that you do not have to earn, and love that sees you as you are and knows that, okay, this is who you are, and that you are committed to doing better, and they are there to support you. And you are worthy of all of that. You are worthy just as you are, and you are worthy by default. You are worthy by design. And it's so important that we keep telling ourselves these things, that we are worthy. And so Uriri is saying that, what if you tell them what you want and they still pretend? I don't know who is pretending here. So Riri, you can ask a question again. Is it you that is still pretending after you tell them, or they pretending? And when we get to that question later, I'm going to check in the chat and find your question. And so at this point, I really need you to say it to yourself that you are worthy, and then you are worthy by design, and you are worthy just by default. And it is so important that we keep reminding ourselves, because everything that we do in relationships would always mirror what we think and what we believe that we deserve in relationships. And whether you like it or not, that's just the straight fact. You are everything that you accept, everything that you reject, everything that you do as a move is always going to be a reflection of what you think on the inside. And so getting to the other side of whether it's people pleasing, editing yourself, or whatever, what have you, it has to always come from that space of knowing and owning your worth. And we need to consciously uninstall the programming that tells us anything that is not serving us or being or helping us in our way of achieving what our dream life is. And so to get to that space where you are consciously uninstalling and installing new programming, you're going to need courage. Because if you've been told all of your life that you need to wait for somebody to come and meet you to start a relationship with you, if I am telling you that that's actually not necessary, that you can actually start off a relationship very conveniently by yourself, and this is not going to end in tears. And that thing that they tell you that, oh, if you are the one that makes the first move, then they won't value you. And you tell yourself that thing. And I tell you, oh, that is bullshit, because there are many people who somebody went to meet them first and they are still treating them anyhow. The problem is not that you met somebody. The problem is that you met the wrong person. But if I tell you that and you don't have courage, you're going to keep thinking, oh, okay, Dr. M is just that kind of person that is very wild. And you're also going to need good guidance, because you just don't want to do things and then you have all these feelings about what you did and you don't have anybody to take you through them or to give you clarity on your feelings. And then you're also going to need new programming, because everything that you think came from somewhere, and you always need to assess where your thoughts are coming from and question your thoughts. And your thoughts would always power your beliefs, and your beliefs would power your actions. And so you need to, at the very core of it, get to that point where you are constantly assessing what you feel about yourself, and you're beginning to tell yourself these things. When I write all the time in my post that I am worthy, I write them and I make sure that I pause to read them. Like, I'm writing those posts for you and you see them on my page. But before I write them, I feel them, because it is me installing that new programming and uninstalling the one that tells me that I am not good enough and all whatnot. And I'm telling myself that I am worthy. So at this point, I'm going to have to ask you, what dreams do you have for yourself, and how do you see yourself in those dreams? Do you see yourself as somebody who is going to be in a healthy relationship that makes sense, or you actually see it, but do you actually, are you in that space where you're constantly seeing it, or you see it today and it disappears tomorrow? Do you even see yourself in healthy relationships, or you are just always running from bad ones? Because all these behaviors sometimes are protective mechanisms. Because let me give you an example, for instance, from what we said yesterday. When you people please and you are occupying your entire time with following somebody that does not want you, for instance, you are taking up the time that you can actually use to work on yourself and find the person that actually would give you the light of day. But those things keep you busy, because while your mouth is saying, I want a happy relationship, I want a joyful relationship, I want a relationship where somebody sees me, you are that person that is running after somebody that doesn't want you. And how exactly is that going to be your dreams? And that brings me to the question that even when you say you have dreams, do you believe your dreams, or are you scared that your dreams are impossible? Because I believe that your dreams are possible, and I believe that you're worthy of all the good in the world, but you have to be very willing to commit more than lip service to your dreams, because nobody's going to do that for you. That is something that you have to do by yourself. Who is here? Who is here? And if you've been following me for some time, even if it's short time, you would know that that is what I am constantly committed to. I do it because I have a personal stake in women being strong, and it's a personal reason to me, and a few people know that reason. And so when I see women in the world, I am so passionate about a woman being very confident and having that sense of self-esteem. And I just want to help you achieve that. Oh, I can see your hands. You're still here. And so, For this period of time, I have done something just for that purpose, and I want to tell you about it. So you had to ask me how I can help you. So how can I help you, elevate your self-worth and help you go confidently towards your dream life and do all that good jazz with your relationship? So you had to ask me how. How? If I don't see how, I'll not continue. But say I will continue. Even if you don't ask me how, I will continue. I will continue because why? Yeah, you're on my Zoom call. They said, please, how can you help me? Beautiful. You see, I love people who can ask questions, because that's the shit right there. All right. So because you begged me, the people that were here yesterday, they know this part. Because you begged me. It's because you begged me that I'm telling you. It's because let's see, everybody's asking her. Okay, I'll tell you. Just because you are begging me. All right, so you must have seen me talking about Worthy by Design. And I have been working on Worthy by Design since the beginning of 2021. And that's because it is something that on your journey to being a better version of yourself, you have to believe this at your core. And this is like the foundation thing for you to believe that you are worthy by design. And so I spent the last 3 months building this particular masterclass, and I call it a mindset reset class. And in that class, I'm going to be dissecting self-worth as regards how we see ourselves, how we treat ourselves, and how we show up in relationships, those 3 things, and the signs that we see and miss in relationships, and how we keep falling prey to manipulative tactics, and how these things can be solved just by realizing that you are worthy by design. And so I'm going to be teaching a very unique set of lessons and mind shifts that took me a very long time to learn, because all these things I just taught you now, I am low-key very guilty of them. And then it took me a very long time to realize that, okay, this is a problem, and how do I fix that problem? And a lot of premium tears. And so what I want to do with Worthy by Design is to save you that time, save you the tears, even though you might have cried a few of them already, to save you the ones that I don't want you to cry, and then to reduce the struggle that you go through in achieving that. And so in the masterclass, we're going to be talking about manipulative tactics that work on you when your self-worth is low, and why those things work on you and how to block them. And we're going to explore the feelings of unworthiness and how to overcome them, and the mind traps that keep you stuck on and unhappy, and how to break free of those things. And we're going to talk about what I call the Worthy Queen Code. And that is like a series of beliefs that you have to have in your head for you to love and value yourself, no matter what your relationship is. And so for many of us, as single people, we struggle with being happy as single people. And we always think that being in a relationship is the ultimate thing. And you just cannot bring yourself to be happy. And you think that when you are happy, you are pretending. Or you even project that on other people. You see happy single people and you're thinking, nah, they must be crying in their house every night. And so we're going to talk about that. And then I'm going to teach you how to tap into a certain side of yourself that gives you joy, and that the kind of joy that you do not have to fake. And I'm going to be teaching you how to show up powerfully and confidently in a relationship without looking like you are desperate and without forcing things for anybody. And so, because I know that all of these things also cannot be completed in a 2-hour masterclass, I've also designed very beautiful bonuses to go with the masterclass, so that even after the masterclass, you have them with you and then you can continue to learn with them. At this point, are we still following me? Do you like the sound of Worthy by Design? Let me see you in the chat. Does it sound like something that you would like? Before I show you the bonuses, because the bonuses are even better than the masterclass. They are even better. Let me just tell you now, in case you don't know. All right. So the first one we have is the 48-hour mastermind. And in that mastermind, it's just going to be after the masterclass, we're going to open the group. And then you can ask me whatever questions you want to ask me regarding what I taught you. I'm going to teach you even more things within that mastermind after the masterclass. And then would so answer your questions. We can talk about stuff. You can ask me personal things and it's going to be fine. And then I'm going to share with you a masterclass I recorded last year that helps you to let go of pain, of past pain, disappointment, and heartbreak, so that you can start afresh and, be able to internalize the messages from the masterclass better. And then you have access to the masterclass forever and ever because you paid and it is yours. And because I like people who show up, and you are here right now, and I love fast action, I have 2 other bonuses for people that take action within this time period of the classes. And so the first one is Worthacity in action. And Worthacity means worth and audacity. And when people say the audacity, and you see people move around in the world with audacity, what I want to teach you is Worthacity, to develop your worth and your audacity to get the kind of life that you need. So I'm going to break down the stories of women that showed audacity and worth in how they were able to show up in their lives and their relationships. And so that is what this particular video is about. It's going to be a recorded video where I play you a video or tell you a story about somebody that is going to inspire you to continue with your own journey. And then there's going to be the Worth of Power diet. And this is like me telling you all these things inside your ear. And so you get to listen to it. And the beautiful thing about it is that you also get, if you pay between now and Monday, you get 15% off the full price of the masterclass. And there's one more thing. If you are one of the first 15 people to pay for this masterclass, I am going to record your own power diet with your name. So just imagine me saying, Jennifer, you are worthy. Or me saying, Tosin, you are worthy just as you are. And the entire Worth of Power diet is in your name, calling your name and telling you that you are worthy just because you are. And so that is only going to be for the first 15 people to pay because, well, it's a very long recording and I cannot imagine recording more than 15. So the first 15 people get Worth of Power diet in their own names. And all of these bonuses together cost even more than the entire masterclass itself, but you are very worthy. And so it's time to take that step. And I really want you to check out www.becomingmorewithdrm.com to see the full information about the class. And it's the first step into uninstalling the things that make you default into these mistakes, whether you like them or not, unconsciously and consciously. And I think that you're going to find, in fact, I know that you're going to find it very eye-opening, and the bonuses would even blow you away even more. And so I'm going to type it right here in the chat so that you can go there directly. So or somebody can help me type it too if you're faster in typing than me. Becoming more with Dr. M.com. Yeah, so this is it. So I'm sending you the website right now, so you can go directly there and you can find out how much it is. It doesn't really cost much at all, and the bonuses way ahead of justified price, even though I'm not even going to justify the price for you. But it's going to be a lovely experience, and I really want to share that with you. And so now that we've talked about that, we're going to go into the action step for this masterclass. So we've talked about mind games and we've talked about manipulation. And so I want you, after this class right now, to sit with what you've listened to and to review your past relationships and to ask yourself, what were you doing in those relationships? If you were the one that was using mind games or manipulating somebody unconsciously, why do you think you were doing it? What is the story behind it? Who has done it to you before that you saw and you felt like that was the best way to express yourself? And then after you go through that, I now want you to sit down and write a new list of things that would be very important to you and things that if you see them, you are going to go off and run away immediately. And so that's what I want you to do, to distill everything that you learned today in this class. And so, do we have any questions? We're already done. Who is still here? I have to praise you guys. At the highest in this class, I saw that we had 23 people on, and right now we still have 21 people. I don't know. You can't. I don't know. Can you hear me clapping for everybody that is still here? Like I love you guys. I really truly love you, and I really appreciate that you stayed with me from the beginning to the end. Akonke, thank you. Thank you. Olayinka Ojo, you were here from the beginning to the end. Linz, even though I don't think that's your full name, but thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I think I saw somebody raising hands. I think I saw hands raising. So let me see. Let me see whose hand is. Oh, you love it too. Oh, Nasra. Okay, so let me see whose hand is raised. Let me see. Let me see. Jennifer, I see you. For a strange reason, I cannot see. Okay, is Essay, you are the one. Okay, so you can unmute yourself. And if you want to ask me a question, you can definitely go ahead. Please unmute yourself. Hi.
Hi.
All right, so what's your question? Where are we? I can hear you. Or are you speaking already and I can't hear you? Essay, or is it?
Oh no, I just said hi.
Oh, you just hi.
Yeah.
All right, so you can unmute yourself now. I thought you had a question. Thank you for joining live. Thank you. I saw you yesterday and now you're here today. You don't know.
Yeah.
I'm super excited that you're here. Okay, so I saw a question earlier. Somebody said, what if you told somebody what you wanted and they pretend? This is the thing. You really can't control how people act and what people do. But the thing that you are super in control of is what you do in response. And the moment that you find out that somebody is actually pretending, that is a very, very good moment for you to say, okay, fine, I am not fine with this. And one thing that we typically forget when it comes to relationships is that relationships are voluntary. Nobody is forcing you. If you decide that a relationship is permanent, you are the one that is telling yourself that. And when I say this, people like have this reaction like, what is she talking about? Is she not a relationship coach? Like, so why is she telling us that it's voluntary? But the truth is, it is voluntary. You decided that you were going to follow somebody and you can undecide that decision. And that is one of the things that is, is the tenets of believing that you're worthy, is believing that you cannot stick with trash and it is not your destiny to stick with trash. And so if somebody cannot be honest about who they are and what they say that they are, then it is none of your business. And remember that I talked about courage. That is where courage comes in this entire conversation. Okay. So if that answered your question, please let me know. And so somebody said, your friend will say that even if it's the devil you are dating, if it ends today, you feel the pain. Jamila, you are speaking facts. And a lot of times we break up with people and then we keep ruminating on those relationships. And you might think that, oh, I miss this person. More often than not, it is not even about that person. It is not that person that you miss. You just miss the attention that being with that person brought to you. And that is it. Because that feeling of not having somebody that is talking to you, whether the talk is good or not, you've gotten very used to it. And so your mind is trying to recalibrate itself again. And so that's why you feel like, oh, this person, and you keep remembering them. And then if it was something that you didn't expect, you might even see them in your dreams for a very long time, and you're thinking to yourself, oh, because I'm seeing this person in my dreams, and it means that maybe I made a mistake. You did not make any mistake. Your mind is just trying to recalibrate itself back to the place that it probably was, or into a new place after that person has been in your life. So don't let us be hyping things that are not. And so another person said, you will only feel pain feel the pain if you have genuine intentions towards a person. Exactly, yes. And even if you didn't have genuine intentions and you had very bad intentions and then the person caught you, there will still be a cut, it will pain you. But I understand the kind of pain that you're talking about here, and it's just the pain of, I really expected better from this person, and why did they do me like that? And you always have to remember that when people do you dirty like that, it is not about you. It just reflects majorly on them. And because even if you were the problem, they could still have said, sorry, I kind of feel like maybe we need to see somebody, and they are not going to make it look like it is your problem. Because sometimes some people act like they are trying to be helpful, but they are basically just trying to fix us to be good for them, and not to have us, into a space where we are happy with ourselves. And that is another thing that you might need to be very conscious of in people that are very manipulative, is that they come like they're trying to help you, but in the real sense of it, they are not actually. All right, so do we have any other questions? Did all of that make any sense to anybody? So Esther said, yes. Oh, okay. Essay.
Okay. What happens when maybe the person wasn't really trying to be manipulative on purpose?
Yes. Yes, I'm listening. Are you just asking generally?
Wait, let me word this well. Like my brain is trying really hard to word this right.
Don't worry, I'm patient.
And you, at that point in time, you really didn't realize that, okay, this was something that was manipulative. Okay, for an instance, like this whole, okay, you're trying to maybe there's an argument comes up and you're trying to communicate, and the person is just like, oh, is that what you want to hear? Fine, or you're taking like that. And you're withdrawing, oh, maybe I've pissed this person off, and you don't feel settled fully in your mind that you've resolved what's going on, but you're like, I don't want to make you angry, this, that, and you just bury what's troubling you and decide to move forward because you feel you've made them angry. But the person said that out of anger, and they don't know that kind of acting out is actually manipulative and a horrible cycle. So when you realize, I think that's how much I can say.
I think I understand what you're saying is that you're thinking to yourself, what do you do when you know that this person is maybe not particularly trying to manipulate you, but you're just very uncomfortable with the situation? This is what I'm going to say about it, is that people have good sides and people have bad sides. In the end, you are the person who gets to decide whether that bad side, you are going to stick with it or not. Because even the most terrible people, the people who are even consciously trying to manipulate you, they have their good sides and they have their bad sides. But you are the one that decides for yourself, do I want to stick with this level of bad? Do I want to wait for this person to figure out their stuff? And while you make that decision, I'm going to remind you of something that I always remind everybody. You are not a rehabilitation center. You are not a psychotherapist. You are not a brain surgeon or a neuropsychiatric anything. You are just yourself, and it is not your responsibility to fix another person. And you are not going to be capable of fixing another person. So if you have all this in your mind and you are still confident that you can stick with this person's bad, then do what fits you, sis. I would not hold you accountable. But if for any moment you find this very uncomfortable and you feel like it is affecting the quality of your life, then you do not have to stick around to wait for them to become conscious about the thing that they are doing bad that is hurting you. And that is just on Mary Had a Little Lamb. And that's how I'm going to answer that question.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Jamila. Hi.
Okay. Mine was okay. I was in a relationship for 2 years.
Okay.
And in those 2 years, well, let me say I actually blame myself, because when we started the relationship, the first question I asked him was, where do you think this relationship is heading to? And he was like, we're just starting. Let's just ease into it, get to know ourselves. And I think that was where I made the mistake. I kind of okay, let's just go on, let's see how it goes.
Okay.
So time went by. I still asked him again for the second time, where do you think this relationship is headed to? He was like, why are you faster than your shadows? And the tone in which he said it was kind of like he was a bit angry, but he switched it off immediately and acted normal.
Okay.
So the last time I asked, yes, the last time I asked, like, where do you think this relationship is heading to? He was like, are we not even happier than those that are over married? After all, I give you all the privileges that a married woman would have.
Okay.
That was when I ran for my life because I knew something wasn't just normal. But at the same time, at this point, I just feel maybe I did the wrong thing. Why did I leave? I should have stayed. Maybe it would have gotten better.
Yeah.
Or so I
You see, I think I understand what you're saying. And first of all, I'm going to say that I am very proud of you for running for your life. And like the other person said, and I don't know if you were the one that said it, is the fact that even if you were with the devil, you would still feel off, especially if after you left that person, you are still single. Does it make any sense? It's even worse when you are still single.
Yeah.
Because then you start thinking to yourself, oh, maybe what if that person was actually the person for me, and then I let the opportunity go because I was faster than my shadow. Faster, you say somebody telling you why you being faster than your shadow is that person is definitely gaslighting you, because you had said it in the beginning of the relationship that you actually wanted something stronger. And even if you didn't at that time pay attention to the fact that they said that they wanted to see how it goes, now that you have decided that you are done seeing how it is going, you have every right, and it was right of you to have said, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. That feeling that you get where you feel like maybe you did the wrong thing, almost everybody feels it after they make a decision. Even if it was not a relationship decision, even if you changed jobs or you left your job because it was making you unhappy and you don't have a new job, you are going to think, oh, why did I leave that job, or did I make a mistake? But if you do not clear your space for something better, nothing better is going to come, and you would still have been with that person waiting for the day that they are going to upgrade you to wife, even though they are giving you wife privileges. Those kinds of statements, when somebody says them to you, you are supposed to be angry. Do you understand? Like, if somebody says, like, I don't know, as you said it, me, I was even angry on your behalf, in case you don't know. as I just heard it, I was like, the audacity. How can you be telling me that I should be happy that you are giving me wife privileges? What's that? So, I mean, like, it's hard to make those decisions in real time. And I empathize with the feelings that you're feeling. But it is okay for those truths to exist together. The fact that this person didn't give you what you wanted, and the fact that maybe you might have played a role in it, and the fact that you have moved forward. Like, it's okay to miss what you had, and you are not a bad person for missing what you had, but you always have to remind yourself that you made the right decision for yourself at the moment. And that is how you get through that, is to continue to tell yourself that you made the right decision for you, and it is okay. And the feeling that you are feeling is definitely okay. All right. Don't
Thank
worry.
you.
You will find your person that wants what you want, and they will not be giving you privileges. They are going to give you the thing that you want. Okay.
Amen.
All right. So is that all with the questions? So that we can end this. We've been here for I think a little bit more than an hour now. So any more questions so that we can end? Any more questions? No more questions. I can't see any more questions. So yeah. So I'm going to see you tomorrow, and tomorrow we're going to be ending this series, and I'm going to be discussing the theme that ties the thread of all the mistakes that we've talked about, and even other mistakes I didn't talk about. I'm going to be talking about the one thing that ties all these mistakes together and how to break free from it. And so please remember to go to www.becomingmorewithdrm.com and register for this masterclass. I would really love to see you there and see you in the 48-hour mastermind. And I want to see the people who I'm going to be recording their water power diets in their names and all that good stuff. And so, yeah, thank you so much. Who is this person that is leaving me this very sweet message? Akonke, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I sound lovely. Thank you. All right. Who said I changed to Zoom? Is it such a bad thing? I actually kind of enjoyed this Zoom experience. I don't know what you're talking about, Esther. I think I prefer doing this on Zoom. It's quite interesting. Can we watch the replay? I'm going to send you the replay in the next few minutes to hours, but in less than 24 hours, you get the replay to this, definitely. I'm going to send it to you, or I'll upload it on YouTube and send it. I will send it to you anyhow I can send it to you, I promise. So you get the replay, don't worry. I'm sure maybe that is what Esther was talking about. Said, I've been giving you a lot of ginger. Yes, I am here to give you the confidence. I am here to make you know that you are the spec. You are the spec, and in fact, you are the spec and then some. That's my job. All right. Yes, you are worthy and you're a queen. Yes, beautiful. You are giving me the energy. I totally love this. Thank you so much for being here. And so that brings me to the end of today. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. NJ, Zara, Jamila, Jennifer, Eve, everybody, Tosin, Olayinka Ojo, Riri, Penny, Esther, the other Esther, the two Tosins, Lint, even though I don't know who that is, Akonke, Hamdallah, everybody. And in case I missed your name, I'm sorry. Thank you so much for joining me. Love you so much. Bye. Bye. It's end.